Shakalaka!
Hello and welcome to The Swing, where after 3 long months, the three of us are back together to talk once again about NBA basketball. Woo! Didn't think I'd be saying that again this season, but July 31st, as of today, officially ratified, and we are back in the game. Boys, I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Owais, and my other co-host, coming from what looks like the jungle, Mr. P. How's it going, boys?
It's all right, man. It's good. It's good to be back. I don't know why I'm back. I haven't, I thought basketball was done for this season. I hung up my basketball clothes, no basketball hat, no nothing. So I'm surprised you reached out and told me to jump on here. So, excited to find out what's going on.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
No, that's it. Owais, how's it doing, man?
I'm doing great. This is the first time I'm getting to finally meet, not in the flesh, but close enough with Mr. P, one of my heroes of the podcasting world. The NBA needed to hear his perspective again on what's happening. So we're really excited for that. I've been really good, really excited for, basketball to be back. And so, and a lot of really interesting happening in the world, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely basketball is going to be first and foremost about everything that we talk about. But as you say, the COVID situation that has kept us from meeting in the flesh and only in the virtual flesh instead. But on top of that as well, the uncertainty that's going around the world, uncertainty in politics. And as the Swing podcast, we wanted to really ensure that we stand united with the Black Lives Matter movement, the situation that's happening down in the United States. And heck, it's not just the United States. It's a worldwide pandemic of its own that needs to be addressed in its own way. The systemic racism must end. And the Swing podcast is always standing united with that.
Well said, sir. Well said. Absolutely. Totally agree.
Well, with that in mind, I do want us to get into what makes this so exciting. As we know, it's July 31st. We're back in the game. We're going to have NBA basketball happening in one spot.
Wait. Hold on. Back up the truck here. What's going on now? What's this now?
Yeah, so, Owais, you can jump in on it as much as possible, but just today, the official ratification of the return to play schedule came out with the NBA. Now, obviously, we're trying to minimize the amount of variables that are happening with regards to location, with regards to fans. So no fans, all in one place, Orlando, Florida, Walt Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
Making dreams come true. That's magical, baby.
Disney always making us smile. And yeah, we're going to have a situation where 8 games are going to be played now in the regular season to everyone get their rust kind of shaken off, all the extra pounds that people have put on during this COVID period, or pounds of muscle if you believe all the other Nikola Jokic six-pack abs, apparently, Osama. Reports come out that he apparently is beach ready at this point. I just thought you'd like to know that.
Yeah. The Joker, eh? Yeah, I will believe it when I see it. Right? Yeah, that guy is one donut away from no. But anyway, okay. So moving on. So break this down for me. How is this going to work? So you're saying 8 regular season games.
Yeah.
But what teams are playing? Are all the teams in the NBA coming out and doing this? You said it's not being no live audience or no live fans or whatnot, but is it being televised? Where is it going to be televised? Like, who's got the TV rights for this? Who's making a bunch of money off of this? Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, the TV rights continue as they are. So, we're going to get the same old TNT, ESPN, all those games happening on there. But the teams that are included is just the 22 top-seeded teams as per overall ranking. So pretty much all the way down to Phoenix and Sacramento being the ones bringing up the rear. And funny enough, as it happened to work out, it's ended up being 13 teams from the West and 9 from the East, with Washington being the only one on the East still having a potential chance. But what's funny and what's an interesting caveat to all of this is that they are making it so that it's still going to be East versus West as normal, same playoff schedule. But if the 9th seeded team happens to be within 4 games of the 8th seeded one, they're going to have a play-in tournament to decide who gets in, with the 9th needing to beat the 8th twice to kick them out.
Wow.
That's interesting. And pretty much every team agreed for this except for Portland, which apparently wanted a 20-team version of it. But yeah, it's going to get to a point where now, especially if you look at the bottom of the West seedings, where like 3.5 games are separating everyone. And if you want to take a quick look at a potential schedule that we could be seeing with this, that is actually some pretty interesting stuff. Now, what's actually cool about it is that at the moment, we're still in this kind of draft mode as far as the schedule is concerned. But looking at Toronto's schedule, god damn.
Oh my God.
Philly, Boston, Denver, Lakers, Bucks, Rockets, Heat, Magic. 8 just absolutely monstrous games. But essentially, you're going to find that across the board. Yeah, everyone's schedule has become a lot tougher because of the fact that if you happen to be facing any of those teams that are outside of the 22 that are in, that game just gets kind of skipped until the next eligible one. And we're going to get a finalized schedule soon enough, but that gives us an idea of just the kind of games that we're going to be seeing, and it's going to be all systems go right off the bat.
Wow. So out of curiosity, so this is a schedule based off of those teams that are remaining, right? Within the playoff picture or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Of the remaining games that were there for you.
Right. And they omitted any of the games that were against opponents that were not. Okay.
Yeah, very exactly. Cool. Yeah, Chicago,
and
all those teams, Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. It's pretty insane. So how do you know who the home team is if everybody's playing in one place?
Yeah, the home team is it's a whole nother situation. You're going to like this, Mr. P. They're trying to find different ways to try to reclaim some of that home advantage. And there's been some wild ideas thrown out as to what we could see. We could potentially have a situation where a team likes to have their logo on the court. So we're seeing that get changed around to have that, to something even more wild as a individual player designated to have 7 fouls instead of 6 on the home team. Right? Just wild suggestions. But my absolute favorite one is that the home team wanted to pick the place of accommodation within Walt Disney. So which hotel they're going to sit at.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, that is funny.
That is wild.
So you're saying July 21st, we're going. We're good to go. But so they've announced that. But the finer details haven't been worked out yet.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
okay.
The finer details are still in the works. I mean, we are right on the precipice of hot news right here. This just got ratified. And so of course, COVID rules supreme.
So out of curiosity, how does a team benefit from having a logo? I mean, there's no fans anymore, right? So how are you supposed to create that energy, or even from the aspect of like hotels, like what is a hotel going to do for you? Like y'all gonna be sleeping on the same quality beds, I'm pretty sure. You'll see Mickey Mouse on the side. Like what can you possibly get in terms of an advantage from a home perspective? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Closer to the basketball court, I guess.
Like less travel.
Well, in the case of
maybe the cheesesteak is better.
Travel to get a little bit.
Put Jokic all the way like to the other side of that resort and make that guy walk.
And don't feed him any of the nuggets.
No. We gotta be careful. Disney's got some interesting food there.
Yo, I've had some of their funnel cake and it is bomb.
Oh God.
So are the families traveling with the players as well, or is it just like, they're isolated?
So apparently what they have said, and this is another potential home advantage idea that they're trying to throw out there, is that once the playoffs actually start, the home team could potentially have their family in the crowd, like separated out, and have that as like a little bit of, you cheering, maybe have LeBron's mom yell at Paul Pierce somewhere. Who knows? These kind of things are
No,
just
I like that idea. I actually like that idea.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, right? I mean, look, the fact of the matter is home court advantage is a very real thing as far as NBA is concerned, or really most of these sports. What is it? I think 70% of home playoff games are won by the home team. So it's just one of those where that is going to be completely different. It's going to be a really, really weird playoffs. And as I was thinking from an earlier perspective, the biggest difference that we're going to have here is health.
Health, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to have people battle worn, just scratching and clawing their way to get into the playoffs and then just being out there on one leg. You are getting essentially like the start of the season freshness in a playoff scenario, which means that players are going to go ham, fast and loose, and it's going to be just,
Do you know what? You're right. In many cases, you're right. But also you have to think about conditioning of players, right? Like the younger you are, probably the easier it is for you to get back into the flow of things, right? Because your recovery is a lot faster and your muscle memory works a lot better. But with the older crowd, now I'm not saying any names, but this period might have been really detrimental to their ability, because it takes a while for them to get back into the game, right? That rhythm and whatever else it is. So I would actually argue that it might be detrimental to those guys that have maybe older players. And I'm not saying that, that's the ultimate truth, because, I believe there's still a training camp and you still get eight games. But yeah, you never know, man. You never know. But that's the exciting thing, right? You might have a lot of teams that come out as underdogs, which I'm really excited about. And young teams might, surprise a lot of the established teams.
So let me ask you this. When you look back at this 5-10 years down the road, is there going to be an asterisk on this season saying that shorter season due to COVID? Is this championship going to hold the same weight as all the other championships?
I'll throw this back at you. Remember 2012, LeBron won his first ever NBA championship, beating the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 66-game shortened lockout season that came through, right? But no one goes back and says, hey, that's an asterisk. Or when the San Antonio Spurs won it back in 99 in a 50-game season. I mean, these kind of things, it's unprecedented now in the sense that there's never kind of been like a middle of the season break going into it, but we've had lockout shortened seasons before and otherwise impacted seasons in other times as well. I don't believe it's an asterisk. If anything, I was actually thinking that it might even be remembered more so because of this idea of the harder playing, the greater amount of health, everything coming together right into this playoff season. No travel, no nothing that would otherwise be wearing you down. So you're just guns blazing at all times. Yeah.
No, but you know what? I'm gonna agree with Owais here. Yes, you're healthy, but you're not. The muscle memory hasn't kicked in, and there's more of a chance for injury. And over this course of I'll be surprised to see the stats when they come out as to how many people actually got injured or after the first couple of games were playing hurt because they wanted to finish the season out. But everyone's healthy now. But what happens in once the season gets started? And I think I don't necessarily think people are going to go ham. They're going to ease back into this.
Yeah. Or on a similar note, it could be that even if they get reintegrated into a team, it might actually be difficult. It could actually be difficult, but it actually be a blessing in disguise. So, for example, Victor Oladipo on Indiana, he was injured, came back, wasn't looking so good, but now they actually have the time to reintegrate him into their system, right? Or anyone else for that matter. And that could kind of be an advantage, but it could also be a disadvantage because some of the things that were working during the season without him might not work anymore, and they might have to change their entire, playbook or outlook on how they play. So both worlds. But in terms of my opinion on whether or not there's an asterisk on it, I think there is. It's a very different playoff, not format, but the way that it was decided, it's very different. The home court advantages, they're not really there. You don't have that travel, whatever you were saying prior. I think that's very important, and it adds to how difficult it is to win a championship, right? Shortened season didn't mean, like, still 50 games is a lot of games, right? But that break was prior, right? It wasn't during. And so it's a very different situation.
Well, let's see how this plays out, and I guess only history will tell, right? How people remember it. But you know what? Because I haven't been following this, guys, my apologies. I'm going to ask some stupid questions. So, Raptors are in, right?
I'm going to beat you with a wet sock.
Right? Yeah, we're good, right?
They're locked into the second seed, 3 games out above Boston. Right. Although that's interesting based on their schedule, whether we happen to drop or not. But we'll see. We're definitely going to come and battle test the playoffs, that's for sure.
For sure.
All right, and we get 8 games to get back into the flow of things.
Exactly.
8 games.
And bring that thing up again. So those are the 8 games you were talking about?
Yeah, so we are potentially looking at a scenario where you get to start off, Philly and Boston, Denver, LA, Milwaukee, Houston, Miami, Orlando. Like, just until you get to Orlando, there's no respite, really. So
even Orlando is arguably a really good team, right?
Really good
defensive squad in the East, from the lower tier.
So the playoffs, are they decided on just these 8 games, or is it the whole season leading up to these 8 games?
Of course. Their whole season record is the one that's put on. Yeah, and these 8 games are just the ones that are finishing it off, essentially to mostly give the bubble teams a chance to try and make it in. And like I said, going back to that 9-8 seed difference, you just got to get within 4 games of the 8th seed, and you got a shot of getting in, which means that teams like New Orleans, Portland, Sacramento, all these teams are going to be really gunning hard to try and get that last seed. Last
spot, absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to point out, and I think HK and I were talking about it earlier, one of the matchups that can potentially happen, which is so exciting, is the Clippers and Dallas. Now, what do you guys got in terms of that?
Yeah, that 2-7 matchup. I mean, again, the fact that they're keeping that East and West seeding does take away a little bit of that. I was kind of hoping that Toronto-Memphis series might have happened based on it, just because, you want to see some of that playoff JV just for Osama. Mr. P wanted to see JV dunk on Marc Gasol.
JV is my boy. I still say it was a mistake getting Gasol in.
What?
I don't know about that, but I do miss the man, and it would have been fun to see. But no, going back to Dallas and the Clippers, I mean, that, to me, of all the series that I'm looking at potentially, is the more exciting of it. One, just because we have seen Luka Doncic transition into pretty much superstardom to the next level this year, and they have the firepower to be able to do it. Their problem has been consistency this season, and then once the drop-off, especially because Porzingis has been in and out as far as his health has been concerned as well. So, I mean, if he's coming out full gunning, if you've got Luka playing at Luka level, showing that Luka magic, then maybe Kawhi is going to regret leaving us.
Maybe.
Dude, why do Lakers get 2 games short?
Oh, so that's
because they got LeBron?
No, so
he's getting old and he can't do 2 more games. Like what?
It's exactly
what's the deal here?
That's it. Well, we don't know what the schedule is going to be yet. They may have to do something to try and findangle it to make it work. But the idea here is that they right now would have been facing one of the teams that are outside of that schedule, and we don't know what potentially they could make to otherwise fix it. Because remember, there weren't that many games left in the regular season as well, and they're using that schedule as a base.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a finalized list back soon enough so that we get some of that. But hey, that's the big thing that's coming out of this. We got more exciting news, and the swing is going to be back full time. Full time.
full
More
time.
opinions for your head top.
Yeah. Enough time for Mr. P to grab a hat for himself next time.
A half, maybe
we
a
win this year.
clipper.
Yeah, and a clipper too.
Maybe hey guys, I'm rocking this beard, bro. This beard ain't coming off until this whole COVID lockdown stuff is done.
My guy.
I want this baby out.
I mean, I told myself that about the top of my head as well, but then I still ended up cleaning up the side because it was getting too wide.
Nah, dude, look, the top of the head too. Nothing.
Look at this guy's flow. He's almost looking.
Yeah, he's looking like Castaway. I'm seeing Tom Hanks right here.
Castaway's a little bit of a stretch. I'm looking at Moses. This is crazy.
You need a clipper to part that.
Let's take a look at what I got over here. Look at this. We lost.
How are you keeping so smooth?
We lost it.
We just keep the top here.
Put that hat back on right away.
Yeah, we're putting it on.
We lost like 10 viewers.
Yeah, I'm looking like I'm working my way towards Alfred Payton, but that's a whole different thing.
Oh man, the tower.
All right, guys. Well, this was great. It was once again awesome to be able to sit down and talk with you guys, get on virtual. Again, we're going to get this on our different pages. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Swing Podcast. We're going to be back on a weekly basis. And Owais, take us away.
Just a reminder that the Raptors will win again. That's just what I think. Apart from that, it's really exciting to hear about basketball again. It's really exciting to be a part of this with HK's perspectives. And I'm so happy I got a chance to hang out with Mr. P. Even though he was not informed, it is still beautiful. We're all really excited. We got a lot of content coming from you, especially considering basketball being back and the matchups are going to be decided soon. You'll hear from us soon. I ain't got much else. I'm probably going to play Warzone today. Last thing, for all of you guys that enjoyed the MJ documentary, talk to us about it. What do you think? Right?
Yeah.
We're always open to talk about basketball. So that's it from me.
All right. Well, keep following The Swing, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Adios.
Peace.